Hello, my name is Charles Cranier. The title of my presentation is called Student Motivation. I will address the problem at Grandview High School. I will address 4 keys to motivate students. And then I will go ahead and address 7 attributes of mentoring. And then last, I will talk about the solution to the problem at Grandview High School. For the problem, the reasons Grandview students are not motivated. Number one, the students at Grandview see little value in the math benchmarking content. The math benchmarking at Grandview consists of 90% assessments, 70% are quizzes, 20% are unit tests. And within the benchmarking, they have to fulfill 75% of all the content that is addressed in the class. Students look at the material and they are pretty much not motivated just to be assessed over and over and over. The second reason for the students at Grandview not to be motivated is that the students do not believe that their efforts will improve their performance. The students at Grandview habitually continue the same work over and over, resulting in very low motivation and low skills. The third reason the students are not motivated at Grandview is that they are demotivated by the math benchmark system and the grading procedure. I mentioned earlier that Grandview High School has adopted a curriculum for the last 10 years in just teaching specific uh, objectives in the Missouri learning system. And the grading procedure, again, is 90% of the benchmarks are assessed. Now, the fourth reason that students are not motivated is that the students do not perceive the classroom environment as supportive. Um, though there are teachers who care, the students overall don't perceive it as a safe place. Every time that the students arrive, they have to be tested on the material they just learned. And the last reason students are not motivated is that students have other priorities that compete for their time and attention. Students are preoccupied with extracurricular activities uh, such as sports, theater, or even um, the school resource teams. I want to present part one, the 4 keys to motivate students at Grandview High School. The 4 keys to motivate students at GHS. Key number one, we want to adopt a new system at Grandview High School for the students. Instead of working with the math benchmarking where it's highly assessment driven, we want to go ahead and present a new system we want to adopt, which is called the problem solving approach. The problem solving approach will focus on student discovery, student exploration of ideas and concepts. And we want to shift it from heavy assessments to more of a dialogue or an atmosphere where students can talk about the mathematics. The second key we want to present in building um, student motivation is more of a partnership protocol where the students can do several different things at different times within the math curriculum. They can work alone and have that think time to themselves. They're going to be able to work in pairs, uh, most of the time with their shoulder partner or with another team member in the class. And then we want to go ahead and work as a whole group. And we want to talk about the ideas that they have just acquired. And the last thing we want to implement is a reflection time where students are actually taking time to understand and learn the material and to reflect on the previous concepts that they have acquired. The third step we want to implement to increase student motivation is a revise and resubmit grading policy. In the past, they'll take the test or they'll take the benchmark, and it was pretty much one and done. And so they'll have to come back after school or during one of the extra classes and make up that assessment. What we want to do is we want to present an environment where the students feel that they can succeed and that the students can feel like they can make progress. So we want to give the students at Grandview multiple opportunities to succeed and learn by them submitting formative assessments, getting it checked immediately by the instructor, and then handing the formative assessment back to the student to make revisions and corrections. And we want to use this process over and over so that the students don't necessarily have to feel that all of their grade is based off of what they know and what they don't know. We want to have a partnership with the student to improve and to feel that they are successful and they are going somewhere. And I would say the last key for motivating students, we want to really stress the math discussions. We want students to gather, we want them to, since they already love to talk, we want them to talk about the math per se. And we want to use a model called anticipating, monitoring, selecting, sequencing, and connecting. With these 5 steps built with math dialogue and math conversation, we believe that the classroom atmosphere will be conducive for students to talk, to explore ideas, and to grow in this particular subject matter. The second part I want to highlight is the 7 attributes of mentoring. I know there's probably more attributes of mentoring, but these are the 7 that were highlighted to me. And I would say the several mentoring ideas that I want to personally invest and to take ownership in is number 1, and in no particular order, I want to be available. I want to be available to my students. The day in the life of a high school teacher is quite busy, many demands. So, but to realize that my purpose at the high school is to serve the students and to be there for them and to teach the math content. I really want to make it a point of my day to be available to students who want to learn the material, to go further in the material, but also just to be there for the students and to be a sounding board, a listening ear to their needs and some of their situations and issues. The second thing is I want to be human. I want that I don't want to find myself to be on some type of pedestal. I want to be human, to hear them out, to understand where they're coming from, and to sympathize and to empathize with their needs. Number 3, I want to continually be a role model to my students. I want to be able to show the example in my work ethic, in my values, in my character, and how I esteem um, those in the class. So I want to continue being a role model to my students. Number 4, I want to be real. I want to be transparent. I want to make sure students know that though I am an adult, and there's areas that that I want them to know that I do understand. Number 5, I want to be a facilitator. I want to help students get to the place where they're trying to achieve their goals and their dreams and their aspirations. Number 6, I want to be a communicator. I want to communicate to students, their value, their worth. I want to communicate hope to students who may be in a hopeless situation. And number seven, I want to celebrate each student. I want to celebrate their successes, and uh, I want to be able to make a make a deal out of that, make a big point out of that, and award students for their effort and their hard work. Last part I have here, to solve the problem of students not being motivated for several reasons. Um, the solution that I want to present is a blended learning system or blended learning approach. So with a blended learning approach, I believe these are the solutions to student motivation and student learning. To make students feel that they're successful, to make students feel that they're a part of something. So the three that I highlighted was number one, create challenges for the students in the blended learning approach. There will be ways of uh, creating um, challenges such as how does the math relate to their personal life, and maybe have some type of connections with how much time they use the phone, or how much time um, does it take to practice, whether it's a sport or an instrument. And I love to bridge the gap with different ideas that the students may bring um, to make math relevant. Another thing I want to do in the blended learning approach is that define the student leaders, and to have students help students within a flexible seating classroom, um, in a differentiated class. And so I really want to incorporate and to raise up student leaders within the class. And the third thing that I want to focus on in a blended learning approach is the classroom movement, making sure that students have um, purpose in their movement and purpose in the stations that they go, whether it's they're doing enrichment and they're being challenged to go beyond the content, or whether they're being remediated in that they're focusing on some soft skills, or they're working with me and we are tying some of the main concepts, or they are getting assessed, or if they're building a project. So I want the class to be fluid. I want the class to have movement and have a sense of direction and purpose. This is Charles Cranier. Thank you for watching my presentation on student motivation.